Echoes of Sierra Madre, love blossoms amid rain and heartfelt sacrifice. Marisol Vargas exhaled, tugging off her apron as the last light faded over the Sierra Madre, the salty tang of her sweat mixed with the lingering scent of roasted coffee beans that clung to her faded red blouse. Another long shift at Café Altura pouring, endless cups of rich, earthy café de olla for truckers and tourists, dodging their half-hearted piropos, compliments, with a polite smile, was finally over. All she craved was the rickety bus home to her abuela's adobe house, where she could kick off her worn huaraches and let the day's weight slip away. But the mountains had other plans. She stepped outside, the warm air turning thick and heavy, a sure sign of rain. Marisol quickened her pace, weaving through the pueblo's narrow dirt paths toward the bus stop, her heart thudding as she rounded the corner, just in time to see the old yellow bus rumble off, its taillights swallowed by the dusk. "No, espera!" she shouted, waving frantically, but the driver didn't flinch. Her stomach sank as the first fat raindrop hit her forehead, then another. Seconds later, the sky split open, a cold, relentless downpour soaking her thin blouse and plastering her dark braid to her neck. Marisol hugged herself, shivering as water pooled around her feet on the uneven cobblestones. "Perfecto. Just what I needed," she muttered, brushing wet strands from her eyes, steeling herself for a soggy wait. The next bus was an hour off, and hiking up the mountain trail in this mess wasn't happening. Then, a low growl cut through the rain. Headlights sliced the darkness, and a dusty silver pickup rolled to a stop beside her. The driver's window slid down, revealing a face she didn't expect on a night like this. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a rugged charm that didn't fit the usual travelers. His dark hair was tousled, damp from the storm, and his rolled-up flannel sleeves hinted at a man who worked with his hands. But his eyes, deep hazel, sharp yet warm, caught her off guard, studying her with a mix of curiosity and something softer. "Need a lift?" he asked, his voice smooth with a faint Texas drawl carried over the border. Marisol froze, caution flaring. A stranger in a truck? Every instinct screamed no, but a gust of wind whipped through, chilling her to the bone, and her soaked clothes clung like a second skin. "I don't take rides from people I don't know," she said, voice barely rising above the storm. He quirked a half smile, unfazed. "Good thing I don't usually stop for strangers either. Guess we're both out of our depth." She narrowed her eyes, weighing him. The rain pounded harder, her sandals slipping on the slick stones. She could stand here, stubborn and drenched, or take the gamble. With a grudging huff, she nodded. "Fine, but don't test me." His grin widened just a touch as he leaned over, popping the passenger door. "Climb in, mountain girl. No trouble from me." Marisol rolled her eyes, but stepped up, sliding into the cab. She had no clue this ride would rewrite her stars. The truck's warmth hit her like a hug. Leather seats, the hum of the engine, a faint whiff of cedar cologne cutting through the damp. She relaxed a fraction, shoulders loosening. He reached into the back, pulling out a thick wool serape, its red and black stripes vibrant even in the dim light. "Here," he said, tossing it her way. Marisol caught it, hesitating. It was soft, hand-woven, nothing like the thin blankets at home. "Thanks," she mumbled, wrapping it around her shoulders, the warmth easing her shivers. He cranked the heat, hot air spilling from the vents. "You're ready for anything," she said, eyeing him warily. He smirked, keeping his gaze on the road. "I don't do cold and wet." She let out a small, reluctant laugh, tucking the serape tighter. Silence fell, broken only by the windshield wiper's steady thwop. Then he spoke. "Where to?" "Camino de las Alturas," she said, testing him. He whistled low. "Up the ridge?" "That's a hole in this." She nodded, bracing for judgment. "You live there?" "With my abuela and little brother," she said, voice firm. His hands tightened on the wheel, but he stayed quiet. Marisol studied him. Strong jaw, a shadow of stubble, an ease that drew her in despite herself. "Look," she started. "This isn't my thing. Hopping into random trucks." "Same," he shot back, glancing over with a spark in his eyes. "Guess we're rebels tonight." She chuckled, softer this time, the tension thawing as rain lashed the glass. A few minutes passed before he broke the quiet again. So, what's your deal? My deal? She arched a brow. Yeah, what's a girl like you do when she's not hitching rides with charming strangers? Charming, huh? She snorted. I work at Cafe Altura. Coffee, tourists, long days. You love it? She paused, then shrugged. It keeps us fed, but I've got plans, bigger ones. A little spot of my own someday, real coffee, no fake tourist junk. He nodded, genuine. That's a dream worth chasing. Her chest warmed at that. Her small hope suddenly felt real. And you? She asked, daring a peek. He grinned. Oh, I roam mountains, save girls from storms. Typical day. She smirked. But before she could dig deeper, the truck jolted. Mierda, he muttered, easing to the roadside. The rain roared on as he unbuckled. What's wrong? Marisol frowned. Flat tire, he said, already out the door. She hesitated, then followed, the serape tight around her. He crouched by the wheel, rain streaking his face. Can you fix it? She asked, shivering. He looked up, grinning through the downpour. What, think a rich guy can't handle a tire? Rich? She blinked. He laughed, caught off guard. Kidding. Mostly. Yeah, I've got some cash. She stared, processing. You don't look it. Should I wear a crown? Marisol snorted, kneeling beside him despite the wet. Here, she said, grabbing the lug nuts. I've fixed my brother's busted bike enough times. He raised a brow, impressed. You're full of surprises. They worked in sync, rain drumming around them. Her fingers brushed his, passing the wrench. A jolt sparked through her, sharp and strange. She froze, eyes flicking to his. He held her gaze, something unspoken flickering there. The storm raged, but for a heartbeat, a different current hummed between them. One neither had seen coming. The truck purred to a stop outside a modest adobe house tucked among the hillside's thick pines. Rain had eased to a light patter, mist swirling in the headlights. Marisol Vargas unbuckled her seatbelt, pausing before facing Javi Calderon. Thanks for the ride, she said, voice soft. And, not being a creep. Javi smirked, arm slung over the steering wheel. No trouble. Thanks for not jacking my truck. She let out a quiet laugh, hand hovering on the door. Tempting, but I'll pass. Before she could step out, Javi tilted his head. That coffee you mentioned, the real stuff. I didn't get a taste. Marisol blinked, caught off guard. What? He shrugged, casual but warm. Owe you for the tire fiasco. How about I swing by your cafe tomorrow? She hesitated. Men like him didn't usually care about her world. But his easy sincerity, the way his hazel eyes held hers, nudged her forward. Sure, she said, then added quick. No cutting the line, though. He grinned, sharp and bright. Wouldn't dare. Marisol rolled her eyes and climbed out, shutting the door. She trudged up the muddy path to her porch, feeling his gaze linger. At the door she glanced back, Javi still watched, and something stirred in her chest, wild and new. Morning broke over the Sierra, sunlight spilling through the pines, a cool breeze carrying the scent of roasted chiles from the Pueblo's market. Cafe Altura hummed with its early quiet, the lull before the midday rush of miners and travelers. Marisol should have been calm, wiping mugs behind the counter, but her hands tightened on the clay taza she dried, her pulse jumping every time the bell jangled. It's just coffee, she told herself, shaking her head. No big deal. Then heavy boots thudded on the wooden floor, and that drawl cut through. Hope I'm not too late for the best brew in these mountains. She stiffened, turning slow. There stood Javi Calderon, out of place yet owning it-faded green Henley, jeans hugging him just right, that rugged charm dialed up in daylight. The cafe's chatter dipped as eyes flicked his way. Her coworker, Luce, elbowed her, grinning like she'd struck gold. Who's the vaquero? She hissed. Marisol scowled, cheeks warming. Just take his order. Luce ignored her, sauntering to the counter. Welcome, what's your pick? Javi barely glanced up. Whatever Marisol says is good. Luce's grin split wider. Oh, personal, huh? Marisol shot her a death glare, stepping forward. Fine, 1 Café de Ola, mountain style. Javi's smirk danced. Sounds like a treat. She turned sharp, focusing on the brew, grinding cinnamon-dusted beans, pouring hot water slow over the clay pot, the rich scent rising like a shield. She didn't look up until she slid the taza across. "There, drink up." He wrapped calloused hands around it, took a sip, and paused, eyes closing, a low escaping. "Damn, that's good." Warmth bloomed in her chest, but she squashed it fast. "Told you." He grinned, but Luce leaned in, nosy as ever. "So, Javi, what's a Texan doing in our hills?" Marisol prayed for a distraction, but Javi leaned back, unfazed. "Business. And now, coffee." Luce laughed, loving it. "Need a guide? I'm free." "Tables, Luce," Marisol snapped. Luce smirked but peeled off, leaving them alone. Javi sipped again, eyes settling on her. "So, I come back. Any chance at a regular's discount?" She crossed her arms. "Nope. You can pay full price like the rest." "Harsh," he chuckled. "Guess I can swing it?" Her lips twitched, amusement sneaking in despite herself. Then it happened. Reaching for a napkin, her fingers grazed his. A spark shot through her, sharp and alive. She froze, their hands brushing, the air thickening. His gaze locked on hers, steady, searching. For a heartbeat, they didn't move. Then she yanked back, face hot. Javi didn't flinch, just leaned closer, voice low. "See you tomorrow, mountain girl?" She huffed, flustered. "Don't you have deals to chase?" "I do," he said, grin unwavering. "But coffee's climbing the list." Marisol sighed, knowing he'd be back, and part of her didn't hate it. The midday sun blazed over San Miguel's bustling market, the air thick with smoky mezcal, grilled elote, and the sweet bite of guava. Marisol wove through the crowd, her woven moral half full with cayote, dried chiles, and a slab of queso fresco for home. Her day off was hers, until she spotted him. Javi stood by a comida stall, squinting at a clay plate of barbacoa like it was a puzzle, his broad frame sticking out among the locals. She smirked, calling out, "Lost already?" His head snapped up, that slow grin spreading. "Mountain girl?" "Just in time, I need a pro." She strolled over, peering at the dish. "That's barbacoa, goat, slow cooked. You're safe." He raised a brow, skeptical. "This leafy stuff's edible?" "It's not leaves, it's maguey." She laughed, arms crossed. "Better than your Texas barbecue." "Hey, easy," he shot back, smirking. "We eat greens, mostly fried." He took a bite, chewed, and nodded. "All right, you win. This is fire." "Told you," she grinned. He studied her, then waved at the market. "Since you're the expert, show me what's next." She paused, caught by the warmth in his eyes. Easy. Real. "Fine, Texano," she said. "Let's see if you can keep up." They roamed the stalls. Tamales de mole, fresh aguamiel from a cactus cup, a bite of sticky dulce de calabaza. Javi tried it all, no complaints, even when the chile relleno made him cough. "You're tougher than you look," she teased. "High praise," he quipped, wiping his brow. Talk flowed like the mountain streams. Javi shared tales of Texas, his abuelo's ranch turned oil empire, summers hauling hay. Marisol gave him her world, climbing pines as a kid, her abuela's coffee lessons. He listened, asked real questions, phone forgotten in his pocket. It felt good. Too good. Then a raindrop hit her cheek. She glanced up. Dark clouds rolled in fast. "No," she muttered. Javi frowned. "Trouble?" The sky burst, soaking the market. Chaos erupted. Vendors scrambled. People dashed. Marisol grabbed his arm, pulling him under a stall's tarp. "This way!" They ran, rain drenching them, laughing as they ducked under the overhang. Wet hair plastered her face. His shirt clung tight. "Not my plan," he said, breathless, grinning. "You didn't check the forecast," she shot back, smiling. Shoulder to shoulder, the rain drummed around them, the scent of earth and mezcal rising. She felt his warmth, his steady breath, his gaze softening. "Every time I see you," he said, quieter, "it rains." Her pulse jumped, the air electric. She didn't pull away. Not yet. "I end up soaked every time," Marisol Vargas laughed, breathless, shaking wet strands from her face under the market stall's tarp. Javi Calderon looked at her, really looked, and for the first time, Marisol's stomach flipped, Not from nerves, but something deeper. The space between them shrank, too tight, or maybe not tight enough. Rain pattered on, but neither budged. In that cramped overhang, storm raging around them, Marisol knew she was in deep, dangerously deep. Morning light filtered through the pines, warming Café Altura as the usual crowd filled the air with chatter and the rich scent of Café de Olla. Marisol moved behind the counter, pouring atole and stacking pan dulce with practiced ease. But her mind drifted, back to the market, the rain, the way Javi's gaze had pinned her in place. Something had shifted, and it scared her to death. She needed distance, needed to pull back before she fell too far. Then Luz, her nosy co-worker, shoved a phone in her face. "Explain this, Mia." Marisol frowned, then froze. A headline blared. Javier Calderon, Texas oil heir, eyes luxury resorts in Mexico. Below it, Javi in a crisp charcoal suit, standing before a sprawling development. Confident, untouchable, her gut twisted. Luz smirked, oblivious. "So this guy mooning over you, he's not just rich, he's loaded." Marisol's pulse hammered. An oil heir? It clicked. His truck, his ease, the way he never flinched at cost. She shoved the phone back, face tight. "Doesn't change anything." "Girl," Luz laughed, "if a rich vaquero was after me, I'd be planning the boda." Marisol forced a chuckle, but an ache bloomed inside. It did matter, more than she'd admit. He didn't belong in her world, a Pueblo girl scraping by. She couldn't be his fling, couldn't risk the hurt. So, she shut him out, ignored his texts. "Morning, mountain girl, coffee? You dodging me? I'm persistent. Did I mess up?" Ducked into the back when his truck rolled by, told herself it was right, but each unanswered message carved a hollow in her chest. Days later, locking up the cafe under a twilight sky, she stepped out and nearly crashed into him. Javi stood there, arms crossed, his usual grin gone, replaced by a hard edge. "You've been ghosting me," he said, voice steady but sharp. Marisol's breath caught, but she squared her shoulders. "I've been busy." He arched a brow, unconvinced. She bristled, crossing her arms. "I don't owe you explanations." His jaw tightened. "Maybe not, but I deserve one." She looked away, chest aching. "You don't fit here." His eyes darkened. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," she swallowed, voice cracking, "you're you. Rich, Texas oil money, an empire. And I'm just," she laughed, bitter. "A girl who missed the bus." Silence hung heavy, the mountain breeze stirring between them. Javi stepped closer, voice low, laced with something fierce. "So that's it? You think I don't belong? Or you don't belong with me?" Her fists clenched. "Does it matter?" He exhaled slow, running a hand through his hair. "I thought you were different, Marisol. Not like the folks back home, judging me by my wallet, assuming I'm some shallow Rico who can't feel a damn thing." Her breath hitched, guilt twisting sharp. "That's not—" "Then what?" he pressed, voice rough. "Because the only one building walls here is you." She wanted to fight back, to say he was wrong, but the truth gnawed at her. He shook his head, stepping back. "I don't chase people who don't want me." "Javi!" Her voice cracked, but he turned, boots crunching gravel, leaving her under the street lamp, regret choking her. She'd pushed him away, and it felt like a knife. Days dragged on, hollow without him. The cafe felt dimmer, the bells chime a taunt. Each time, she'd glance up, hoping only to sink when it wasn't him. She'd told herself letting go was smart, safe. So why did it feel like she'd lost something vital? She missed his smirks, his questions, the way he made her dreams feel real. She hated it, hated needing him. Then, one dusk after closing, she stepped out, and there he was, leaning against his truck, less polished, eyes raw. Before she could speak, he crossed the distance, his hand catching her wrist. Not tight, but firm enough to stop her. "Why are you running from me?" His voice was low, frayed with frustration. Her heart slammed against her ribs. She tried to pull away, but he held steady, searching her face. "Tell me the truth, Marisol," he said, softer, rawer. "Is it the money, or are you just scared?" Her lips parted, but nothing came. He was right. She was scared, terrified of how he lit her up, how he made her want more. His grip eased, but he didn't let go. "Tell me," he murmured, "because I can't get you out of my head, and it's killing me." She shut her eyes, breath shaky, and the dam broke. "Because you're too much, Javi." He stilled, brows knitting. "You've got everything," she rushed on, walls crumbling. "Money, a future, freedom, and I'm just me, a girl pouring coffee, barely holding it together. How's this supposed to be real?" Silence thickened, the mountain air humming around them. Then Javi's hand slid to hers, cupping them gentle but sure. "You think I give a damn about that?" Her throat burned. He shook his head, eyes fierce. "I don't care about the money, Marisol. Not the oil, not the deals, not what anyone thinks. All I care about," his fingers tightened, voice dropping, "is you." Her breath snagged, vulnerability crashing over her. For the first time, she believed him, and it shook her to her core. He stepped closer, so close she felt his warmth through the chill. "Tell me you don't feel it," he whispered, "and I'll walk away for good." Marisol Vargas trembled, her chest aching as Javi Calderon's words hung in the air. "Tell me you don't feel it, and I'll walk away." She couldn't speak, couldn't lie. She wanted him more than anything she'd ever known, and he must have seen it in her eyes. Before she could find her voice, Javi lifted a hand, gently tilting her chin. Her breath snagged, body still as stone. Then his lips brushed hers. Soft, slow, a quiet offer to pull back. But she didn't. The kiss deepened, and everything. The Pueblo's hum, the drizzle outside, melted away. It wasn't just a kiss. It was a vow. She wasn't a fleeting stop on his road, not just the girl who missed the bus. She was his world. Marisol gripped his damp flannel, heart racing, and let herself believe. Days later, she sat on her abuela's porch, the Sierra's golden dusk stretching over the valley. Her phone glowed with an email. "Dear Miss Vargas, we're thrilled to offer you the cafe manager position at Cafe Sierra Azul, Durango. Your skill and passion for coffee make you ideal." The words blurred. This was her ladder. Steady pay, a shot at her dream cafe, but it meant leaving San Miguel, leaving her family, leaving Javi. She pressed the phone to her forehead, breath shaky. What now? Next morning, Cafe Altura buzzed, but Marisol's mind was miles away, pouring Cafe de Olla on autopilot. Luz caught it fast. "You're off today, mija. What's up?" Marisol sighed, handing over a tray of pan dulce. "Got a job offer." Luz's eyes sparked. "No way. Where?" "Durango," she said, quiet. Luz's grin faded. "That's far." "Yeah, big step. More money, experience, but..." She trailed off, twisting her apron. Luz crossed her arms, smirking. "Let me guess. Tall, Texano trouble?" Marisol groaned. "Not just him. It's everything. Abuela, my brother, this place. But yeah, Javi's in it." "What did he say?" She bit her lip. "Haven't told him." Luz's brows shot up. "Que esperas, mujer?" Marisol had no answer. Fear choked her. What if he asked her to stay? What if he didn't? That evening, stepping out of the cafe, she froze. Javi's silver truck idled out front. He leaned against it, arms crossed, hazel eyes pinning her. "All right, mountain girl," he drawled. "What's eating you?" She hesitated, fingers curling into her rebozo. "You always pop up out of nowhere." "Maybe you're just waiting for me now," he teased, warmth in his tone. She exhaled and then spilled it. "I got a job offer, Durango." His jaw tightened, but he didn't flinch, just watched her, steady. "Okay?" "Okay." She blinked. He shrugged. "Isn't this your dream?" Her throat closed. "I think so, but I don't know." He stepped closer. "You're scared." "Yeah," she admitted, looking away. "Of leaving. Of staying." Javi lifted her chin, gentle but firm. "Marisol," he said, voice low. "If this is what you want, I'm not the guy who chains you down. Go chase it." Her heart twisted. "And us?" "We make it work," he said, no hesitation. "You don't pick between me and your dreams. I'd never ask that." Her chest swelled, emotions crashing. He saw it, smiled soft, and whispered, "Whatever you choose, I'm not going anywhere." And just like that, she knew. Durango wasn't her path. Her dream wasn't some fancy cafe far off. It was here, in San Miguel, building something real. Ah, fatiguée. Later, she stood on a cliff overlooking the valley, wind tugging her hair as the sun dipped low, painting the Sierra rose in gold. This was home, not just the mountains, but the life she'd carved here. She smiled, the weight lifting. Now, to tell Javi. That evening, she found him by the riverbank, barefoot in the dirt, hands in his pockets. The sunset glowed over him, sharpening his rugged edges. He turned as she neared, eyes searching. "So, mountain girl," he said, voice soft, "what's the call?" She took a breath, smiling. "I'm staying." His brows lifted. "Because of me?" "No," she said, firm. "Because of me." His grin spread, slow and sure. "Good, 'cause I wasn't letting you go easy." She laughed, breathless, then froze as he reached into his pocket, pulling a small wooden box. Her heart stopped. He dropped to one knee, the earth shifting under him, and she couldn't breathe. "Wasn't planning this tonight," he said, voice rough, "but you've taught me plans don't hold up." He opened the box, a simple silver ring etched with a tiny maguey leaf. "I love you, Marisol. Not some fleeting Verano fling. I love you, the kind that drives me loco, but I can't live without." Her eyes stung, a choked laugh escaping. "So," he said, steady, "marry me, mountain girl?" Tears blurred her vision, her heart too full. "Yes," she whispered, trembling. He slid the ring on, pulling her into his arms, lifting her off the ground as she laughed through the joy. The river rushed behind them, the Sierra cradling their moment. 1 year later. The bell at Cafe Ray's chimed as locals shuffled in, the air rich with roasted coffee and smoky mezcal. Marisol poured her signature Sierra blend, grinning as she handed it to an old campesino. "Still the best in the pueblo," he said, warm. "We try," she replied, glancing around. Wooden tables, walls lined with photos of local farmers, a chalkboard listing drinks named after Sierra peaks. This was theirs. Javi stepped in, hauling a sack of pan dulce from the baker down the street. He caught her eye and winked, her stomach flipping like always. A year married, and he still looked at her like she'd hung the stars. "Morning, Senora Calderon," he teased, kissing her temple. "Morning, senor," she shot back, smiling. He leaned on the counter. "Getting busier, huh?" "Guess folks can't resist good coffee," she said. "Or the woman pouring it," he added, voice low. She blushed as the side door swung open. Volunteers from their outreach crew hauled in donation crates. A year ago, they'd vowed Café Raiz would give back. Weekend profits to struggling families, monthly free breakfasts for the Pueblo's poorest. It was more than Marisol's old dreams. It was purpose. She glanced at Javi, the man who'd crashed into her life with a ride in the rain, who'd challenged her, held her up, loved her fierce. He laced his fingers with hers, and she knew. This was where she belonged. A missed bus had sparked a love neither saw coming. Marisol, a mountain girl with big dreams, and Javi, a millionaire who found his roots in her. Fate wove their story through storms, stolen glances, and a love that wouldn't quit. It's not just romance. It's about risking it all, knowing you're enough, and chasing the heart's true path. If this tale stirred your soul, drop a like, comment, and subscribe to Timeline Stories. We bring you love that hits deep, reminding us the best comes uninvited. Thanks for joining. See you in the next one.